Hello everybody. Welcome back for another video. Hope you're all doing well. Hope you're all doing fantastic. Hope you're all having a great day. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter. There's a link in the description below. I just woke up, so you already know the deal. I might be a little sluggish during the beginning of the video. Yeah, without any further ado, let's jump right into it. Welcome back to the, I want to call it the mimic, but I think it's maybe a little bit more than that. A lot of, if you've been watching the videos from the last couple of, it's been about 2 weeks now, just give or take 2 weeks. All analysts are predicting the beginning of, the continuation of a rampant, if you will, bull run within the cryptocurrency space. There was an analyst a couple of days ago who mentioned something along the lines of like, it's time, like it's going to happen. It's not so much like a, can it? It's more so that it's going to actually take place. And I mean, it's nice to, as I've said before, kind of see all the ducks in a row. Other previous bull runs and other cycles, a lot of the analysts have never actually agreed with each other in many different cases. But it's nice to see that this one, everyone seems to be on the exact same page. Cryptocurrency analytics firm, they're called CryptoCon. It sounds like a comic book convention more than a company. CryptoCon has confidently predicted an upcoming bull market for Bitcoin. A lot of people think that we are already in a bull run, already in a bull market, having moved from $16,000 to 70-something thousand, and even when we fell back to around the 50s and the low 60s, this is still indicative of a bull run, but you understand. Dismissing concerns of a recession or a prolonged bear market. A lot of people, and I'll say it this way, a lot of people who are not analysts have begun chattering online, and I don't know where it's coming from. It could just be a general form of pessimism that these people have within them. But a lot of people are, remember 2 weeks ago, when we had the Fed rate cuts and they announced it, and that like the very next day, a lot of the news that was coming out was either like euphoric, they finally did it, or there were a lot of people talking about that this is something bearish. It's actually really bad. We shouldn't have any rate cuts. Any rate cuts means that the markets are going to go down, like that kind of thing. So because prices didn't move the way that a lot of people expected over the course of the summer, a lot of people are saying that any movements up might be a bear trap or a bull trap, whatever animal is there inside of a trap. And now the discussion once again, as we spoke about a couple of days ago, the, what do you call it? Christine Lagarde made it into popular news recently when she announced that if the Fed does not continue cutting interest rates, that we might see the world move into a recession. And what a lot of people seem to forget is that we are, and I'll say it this way, we already are lightly in a recession. A recession basically means it's a downward period or a period of lack of growth similar to the previous cycles that we've had before. So if every year you keep getting the same number over and over, and then I believe for, is it 2 or 3 quarters? I don't remember exactly how many months it is. Growth is less than it previously was the last cycle. Therefore, that equals a recession. So recessions aren't actually that bad. I mean, they can get worse, and that drags it into a depression. But as far as like what we've been going through has been recession behavior. But a lot of people on social media and online are hyping up the idea of an actual recession as something like near catastrophic when we've basically been dragging ourselves through it for a while already. In a recent statement, the firm highlighted its Puel multiple analysis, a key indicator that suggests Bitcoin is currently in a mid-cycle correction phase and is preparing for a significant price increase. This has been mimicked by nearly every single analyst over the course of the last couple of months. We heard this as well, once again. We heard this as well in summer, that by the time we got to October, November, December, we would have significant movements upward, and this is apparently where we currently are right now. CryptoCon noted that this pattern has been observed in previous Bitcoin cycles, most notably in September 2012, September 2016, and in 2020, just before the start of major bull runs. The firm argued that despite the recent market volatility, Bitcoin is still on track for another bullish period. Once again, so you know how when we go over cryptocurrency news, and a large portion of the time, the people who we hear from is like this analyst from this company, this analyst from so-and-so, Michel van de Puppe, this guy from BlackRock, who we heard about recently as well. A lot of the negative news is coming from certain crypto YouTubers and other kind of random people who have larger accounts on social media. And I say that they're trying to kind of scare people into the idea that I've seen the term, is it bull trap or bear trap? I don't know. The idea that if the market goes up, it'll be short-lived. If the market starts moving up by 4%, everyone should be afraid and not put their money into the market because it's going to go back down. And I keep seeing that over and over. And it's the same kind of thing that we've seen in other cycles, but it feels like people just like being evil and mean and trying to spread negativity. The term for it is a fear mongerer. And it's always quite prevalent in the cryptocurrency space, and I'm not exactly sure why. You don't gain any favor by being a negative or terrible person, especially if you're actively just lying to people and trying to get them to basically not make money from the market. It just doesn't actually make any sense. So there were a couple of people I saw in the last few weeks who've been writing online that basically everything is a trap, everything is fake, everything is so-and-so, Bitcoin has to go back down, and there's nothing warranting any of those kinds of excuses and or ideas except for people just being relatively negative. The analytics firm said, and I quote, "A bull market for Bitcoin is in order. Plain and simple. Not a recession, not a bear market, not another doom and gloom price action. The phases in the Puel multiple make it clear that we are in the middle of a mid-upper correction that comes just before the real bull run," end quote. It's kind of nice to even hear someone saying that. A lot of the other predictions that we've been getting have been kind of, yeah, it's going to happen. Yeah, it's going to happen. Yeah, it's going to happen. No one ever mentions the actual negativity in the market, but the negativity is there as well, even if we are doing extremely well in the market. It happens all the time. This used to be a handful of crypto YouTubers. I mean, they thrived on absolute negativity and trying to make everyone absolutely afraid. But now it seems to be spreading amongst not normal people, but you know what I mean, just kind of everywhere. It's similar to when I told you in that video on the other channel, Money Rules. I forgot when it was, but it's not too long ago, where I was showing you the guy from, what's the name of that movie? The Big Short. The Big Short guy. This was actually, I want to say it might have even been last year. For those of you who missed it. For some reason, he gained notoriety and fame from being that guy, one of the people who basically called the 2008-2009 recession. To also be clear, there were multiple people, that he wasn't the only one. There were dozens of people around the world who called the 2008-2009 recession. He just happened to be the one who they made the actual movie of. After he correctly called that one instance, over the course of the next decade and a half, he basically began to mimic himself and say the same exact thing every single year. I mean, you can find the video or even just type in his name and then like the actual year, you'll see what he was talking about. In 2011, he predicted a recession. In 2012, he predicted destruction. In 2013, he predicted a recession. 2014, 15, 16, 17, he said the market was about to go lower than it did in 2008. By the time we got to 2021, he was talking about that the market was going to have like a major $1 trillion implosion. And I was like, okay. And then I made the video specifically because he was saying that last December that the world's market was done. Like not like a recession. He's like, this is it. It's over. And he made $1 billion wager on that happening. And then it didn't happen. And he's kind of like disappeared from the news because everyone, not that he's a farce, but it's the same exact thing. If you ever get a chance, I mean, to look at it, Jamie Dimon does the exact same thing. But Jamie Dimon is because he's a terrible human being. And Jamie Dimon often is just trying to scare people out of every single market to make JP Morgan richer. He's been doing it for more than a decade with crypto. Jamie Dimon, the head of JP Morgan Chase, is one of the original people to say that Bitcoin was for criminals. Where do you think the term comes from? He's one of the very few people in the beginning who only spoke negatively about crypto. And even now, do you remember about a year and a half ago, he went on to some news platform and said Bitcoin is horrible. And he would never, he said, I'm never, ever going to talk about Bitcoin again. And then 4 days later, he was bad talking Bitcoin all over again. He's been doing it multiple times this year. Like it's just about price manipulation and trying to make everyone scared. If you keep making people scared, you make sure that they don't enter the market that you're trying to control. It's diabolical, but it's also very simple. CryptoCon also highlighted Bitcoin having cycles as a crucial factor in bullish outlooks. According to the halving cycle theory, the next red year, which typically signals the start of a bull market, will begin after the 28th of November 2024. Basically, these people are trying to predict when like the bull run is going to begin and when it's going to end. According to their halving cycle theory, here we go. They said the 28th of November of this year is like the catalyst date, like when things go completely insane. If you've ever been in the market before, or if you're new to the market and you've seen those charts where like things just kind of keep going up and up and up and up and up, they're predicting that for the 28th of November. And they say, according to them, that the bull run will continue until the 28th of November 2025. This, as you might have imagined, was very, very popular in the cryptocurrency news space simply because we often don't get exact dates, if you will, as to when the mega pumps are going to happen and to when the bull or the bear market is supposed to begin. This ties in loosely to the other dates that we've heard before. A lot of analysts, I think two analysts have said that they're expecting the bull run to end in summer 2025, and the vast majority have nearly all said Q4, quarter four of 2025. So there's a bit of a jump in the differences of them, but the majority, like I want to say like 15 of the top analysts who we normally hear from are all saying the end of November, or like quarter four, if you will, of the end of next year. Yeah. Everyone, all these analysts are quite bullish on the market and seeing where things are going to go. I still assume, at least at the time of me making this video, the real optimism for Bitcoin will come back. I think we need to pass by 100K. I think 80K is kind of cool, a given. It's amazing, but it's still kind of a given. When you get to 99,000, I think we'll start entering like the normal news media again. But I think if we go over 100, like 105,000, 110,000, It's kind of when Bitcoin can't be ignored anymore. And that's when I think like a lot of the fireworks will really begin. And also, I mean, November, the end of November, beginning of December is when a lot of those analysts said that Bitcoin would go over 100,000. Yeah, that's the CryptoCon. I wonder why they chose that name. There's a lot of companies in the cryptocurrency space and they choose these weird names. And I always wonder, I'm like, there's so many other words in English and you chose those. Okay, that's the Bitcoin bull cycle news. And yeah, let's move on. And also a bit of a blast from the past kind of thing. I don't really know. The website Crypto has secured a payment service provider, or a PSP, license from the Central Bank of Bahrain, or the CBB. This license allows the crypto exchange to offer e-money and fiat-based. Do people say e-money? Is that a thing, or is that just like some kind of a lingo term for the actual license? I've never heard anyone say e-money before. It sounds like almost like a rapper's name, like e-money. But people say e-books. I've never heard of e-cash either. Anyway, they can now start offering services from a wrapper and fiat-based payment services, including their prepaid cards within the region. Last year was also a very odd year. This one we get a lot of stablecoin news. As you might have noticed, everyone is creating their own stablecoin. But last year was a lot of like licenses news. So there was like this company can now officially work in Dubai. This company's trying to get paperwork to work in India. They just got paperwork here. Now they can offer services in Australia. And it was always popular news, and I don't really understand why. I mean, when was the last time that you actually heard or like anyone spoke about the website Crypto? I mean, like as an actual, don't they, I believe they are literally a cryptocurrency exchange, if I'm not mistaken. So they're not often in the news. It's not that this isn't world changing, but it's more like cool, they got a license and they got some paperwork that they've been trying to get for years. I'm not sure. The approval adds to crypto's growing list of regulatory approvals worldwide, further solidifying its global presence. I wouldn't go that far. No. Okay. Meanwhile, Amber Group's Dubai-based subsidiary, Amber Premium FZE, has obtained in principle approval for a virtual asset service provider VASP license in the Dubai Virtual Assets Regulatory Authority. That sentence was way too long. There were just commas everywhere. There were no periods. Whew. This approval allows Amber Premium FZE to provide various virtual asset services in compliance with UAE regulations. Awesome. Cool. Not that I'm not trying to knock it, but it's more of a, sometimes the popular news always ends up being a little bit confusing to me. So people got licenses that they wanted or need to be able to do business in other places because that's how the world works. So I guess that's kind of cool, but cool. Okay. All right. Let's move on. Also in popular news, I don't get it, but people seem to like it. According to information from the Salvadorian Ministry of Foreign Affairs, something called Compass Coffee, like a compass that you use to like find the North Star. Is that still a thing? Compass Coffee, a US-based coffee company, has completed an international purchase of Salvadorian coffee using Bitcoin. Jorge Cruz, the Salvadorian counterpart in this transaction, explained that he received the payment in less than 10 minutes, bypassing the need for intermediaries in these deals. Yeah, because that's the point of Bitcoin. That's the point of crypto. There doesn't need to be an intermediary. It's supposed to be, 10 minutes is because Bitcoin, like on-chain, takes a while. But it's also, okay. It says it says Salvadorians are beginning to appreciate Bitcoin's advantages for settling cross-border payments without intermediaries. That's also like a really weird sentence because it's only one guy and one company, but I guess you can generalize the entire country and say that they're all taking advantage of it because one guy sent coffee beans. According to info from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, US-based company Compass Coffee completed the purchase of a batch of Salvadorian coffee using Bitcoin at fair prices and sidestepping intermediaries. This represents an advancement in the use of the currency for commodity settlements, as the Salvadorian ambassador to the US, Milena Mayorga, highlighted that the producers received competitive prices without third parties taking a cut from the deal. Was the government involved in this? Why does this sound so official? This sounds like, you understand what I mean? Like, you normally wouldn't hear that the Ministry of Foreign Affairs was. Is it illegal in El Salvador to use Bitcoin to purchase things from overseas or vice versa, or to receive a payment in Bitcoin? I understand that it might not be legal tender with the same power or whatever as their local paper currency, but why was the Salvadorian ambassador part of people buying beans? Mayorga also pointed out that all companies could use Bitcoin for this kind of settlement in El Salvador. Jorge Cruz, a Salvadorian coffee producer, stated that the price reached for the transaction was 2 to 3 times higher than the one quoted in US markets. So is this making news because the guy paid more for the coffee beans? Or is it because he used Bitcoin? Did the ambassador and the government have to be present because this guy was making double or triple the money that he should have been making? I'm asking real questions. I know it sounds cynical, but I'm still tired, and I'm asking real questions because none of this makes any sense to me. The transaction was settled in less than 10 minutes using Bitcoin. Before, the Salvadorian producers had sent a test batch for the counterparty to measure the coffee quality and approve the whatever. Awesome. Wow. I can't believe it. I was hoping for news like this because, I'm always hoping to get coffee for Bitcoin sometime in the future. I don't know. This was also quite popular news. It wasn't all Salvadorians. I don't understand why the government had to be present for this. This stuff like this happens all the time. You know that you can buy nearly everything with Bitcoin, nearly every place around the world. You can either do literal intermediary companies who will set up the deal for you and you pay in crypto. Or most websites, at least the smart ones, have a place somewhere where you can pay in Bitcoin or Ethereum. You can get flights. You can buy whatever you want with crypto now. So I don't know is this supposed to be, maybe I'm missing something. Maybe behind the scenes, they're planning on making it legal tender or no, because Bitcoin's already legal there. So it's not like this was the first ever transaction. It's not like people haven't bought things with Bitcoin before. They're not going to make it legal tender. I don't understand why this would have, if we heard that there was, a company who had 5 warehouses who was only or beginning to accept Bitcoin for 30,000 bags of beans, and they were the main supplier of beans within the company to the United States, that sounds like a little bit more like news, right? This sounds like a guy just bought a bag of beans, paid 3 times as much, and for some reason the Ministry of Foreign Affairs got involved with this. Can someone help me out? I'm asking real honest questions because cryptocurrency news is always weird. So cool. Someone bought beans with Bitcoin and it's revolutionary. It's never happened before, ever. Ever. No one ever buys anything with Bitcoin ever. Okay. Let's move on. Also, in confusing news, I have to read the second paragraph first so that you can understand the first paragraph. You'll see what I'm talking about. Launched in July 2024, after a unanimous city council vote, apparently there's a Santa Monica Bitcoin office. Why? I don't know. The Santa Monica Bitcoin office launched this summer is aiming to educate residents about Bitcoin's potential while identifying industry partnerships to support economic recovery and job creation. Now to the first paragraph. Something called Proof of Workforce, joined by the Santa Monica Vice Mayor Lana Negretti, will showcase the Santa Monica Bitcoin office at the upcoming California Municipal Revenue and Tax Association. What? CMRTA annual conference on the 9th and 10th. They will present a case study on the innovative municipal office, the first of its kind in the US. So it looks like other places don't have Bitcoin offices. I'm surprised because Bitcoin offices is an oxymoron. It literally doesn't make any sense. Why in the world would you need Bitcoin doesn't need offices. These people aren't Bitcoin. They're not it probably has to do with like cases of crypto and Bitcoin within Santa Monica. How many people in Santa Monica are using Bitcoin like that you need an office to like discuss these things? So apparently they have been doing research, and there's an upcoming California Municipal Revenue and Tax Association annual conference, and they're going to be talking about Bitcoin there with something called Proof of Workforce. I feel like I'm having like a fever dream now. Do any of these words make sense? What case study are there going to be? I'm completely... Proof of Workforce is excited to share our experiences and insights with other municipal leaders at the CMRTA conference. This was said by Dom Bay, who's the founder. Already, through our initial work, there are many valuable lessons learned and opportunities have emerged. Like what? What are you talking about? Tell me what's going on. The vice mayor said, are there vice mayors? Were there always vice mayors? I know there's vice presidents. I've never heard of like a vice councilman. They added, we have received an overwhelming amount of interest and positive engagement as we continue to learn about Bitcoin as a community. Am I missing something? Okay. Well, this is just getting weird now. I saw this, so this was also, and I mean relatively popular news. Anytime that literally any place deals in Bitcoin or does anything, it ends up making it into the news, and people tout it as something revolutionary or awesome or, engaging or, moving the cryptocurrency space forward. But this doesn't make any sense. What are they doing or what have they done? What's the point of this? Are community members going to them and saying, hey, I like Bitcoin, go tell the local vice mayor? Or are they like actually looking for ways to use Bitcoin to create jobs in the area? And these are their findings. But what kind of jobs? Why don't you need a whole city council to be able to, what the hell is proof of workforce? Is this fake? Like, is any of this actually, okay, I think I need to go back to sleep. Anyway, no, not cool. I usually say, okay, cool. No, this is terrible. Like, what even is this? This feels like, remember, I didn't even know if I ever told you. There was something, this was more than a decade ago. There was some part of somewhere in the States, I don't remember. And it was very difficult for people in this area to like walk down this hill because it was like mainly seniors in this area. And the only way down the hill was through this like long, loopy, winding thing. Like not the thing in San Francisco, but like something similar. Yeah, something similar to this, like that long, famous winding road in San Francisco. And it took the seniors forever or anyone to actually go down to where they're trying to go. So what happened was that a local carpenter basically like built steps like all the way down the hill, straight down, like, like some, like with some other like patches in between so people could gain their footing and kind of continue. And it was a complete success. The local city council found out that someone did this for free and they destroyed it because they said that it wasn't, the word's not sanctioned, but like, he didn't have a permit for what he did. So they hired a company and they paid them several $1 million to do the exact same thing that this guy did, and it came out worse. And people were using the steps, and some of them were crumbling and falling apart as people were using them. This is kind of what this feels like. It's like additional steps, unless I'm missing the point of proof of workforce and what the heck any of this is actually for. Why would you need this? That's like, imagine someone in New York being like, we need to make an office so that we can try and convince politicians in New York that they need Bitcoin to create extra jobs. And it's like, what? I don't know. This feels like some kind of a weird money thing where they needed money to be allocated to something so that they can show that Bitcoin is actually doing something. You don't have to prove anything to anyone. Bitcoin's going to dominate everything regardless of who needs some kind of convincing from any super long named tax authority. Are you going to try and prove that people should be able to pay their taxes in Bitcoin? All right, it's bedtime. I hope that you've all enjoyed. I hope that you all are having a great day, morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are, wherever the heck you might be. I do hope it's absolutely fantastic. Thank you all once again for watching, listening, liking, commenting, and supporting. And I will most certainly be talking to you all soon. See you.